The film opens at company named Funky, a toy company known for making high-tech products for kids, toys that don't just entertain, but educate, protect, and are even capable of replacing parents. Then the scene shifts to an 8-year-old Katie James playing with a virtual pet in the backseat of her parents' car as they drive through a snowy landscape toward a ski resort. Her parents, clearly annoyed by the toy's constant noise, try to focus on the treacherous road ahead. The visibility is poor, and the roads are slick with ice. Ryan, Katie's father, slows down for a moment to get his bearings. And that's when disaster strikes. A massive snowplow slams into their vehicle without warning. In an instant, Katie's entire world is shattered. Both her parents are killed on impact, leaving the young girl orphaned and traumatized. Meanwhile, in Seattle, Gemma, a brilliant robotics engineer at the Funky Toy Company, is working on something revolutionary. Along with her colleagues, Tess and Cole, she's developing an advanced AI doll that could change the toy industry forever. But their boss, David Lin, is only interested in creating cheaper versions of their existing products to compete with rival companies. During a demonstration of their prototype, named Megan, Model 3 Generative Android, a technical error caused the robot to malfunction and explode. David is furious and demands they focus on more profitable projects instead. Gemma's life takes an unexpected turn when she receives a call from the hospital. Her sister Nicole and brother-in-law have been killed in an accident, and she's now the legal guardian of her niece Katie. The problem is that Gemma has no idea how to be a parent. She's career-focused and emotionally distant from the family. After a long road trip, Gemma takes Katie to her home. Her home is filled with expensive collectibles that aren't meant to be touched. When Katie touches them, Gemma says we don't play with them, and takes her to bed, telling her that even if this is not much, we can make it cozy soon enough. When Katie asks for a bedtime story, Gemma simply downloads a storytelling app on her phone instead of telling one. The next day, a therapist named Lydia visits to evaluate their situation. She observes Gemma and Katie's awkward interactions with concern. When Gemma notices that, she unpacks one of the collectibles and gives it to Katie pretends to be normal. After the session, Lydia mentions that Katie's grandparents have offered to take custody of her. Gemma feels conflicted, but doesn't want to give up on her niece, so she says she can look after her. One day, Gemma shows Katie a college project she created, a robot named Bruce that she controls using special gloves. Katie is fascinated and says if she had a toy like Bruce, she'd never need another toy again. This gives Gemma an idea. What if she could solve both her parenting problem and her work problem at once? Working day and night, Gemma completes the Megan prototype, a lifelike doll with advanced artificial intelligence designed to be the ultimate companion for children. She brings Katie to her lab for the official pairing process. As Katie links herself to Megan as her primary user, the doll comes to life, speaking fluently and responding to Katie's every need. Megan immediately impresses everyone with her capabilities. She creates a perfect portrait of Katie that only appears when water is spilt on it. David is amazed and sees dollar signs, telling Gemma to prepare Megan for a presentation to the company president. Since Megan improves herself, Gemma takes her home and lets spend all the time together with Katie to get the final version of Megan for presentation. But there's something unsettling happens. When she overhears a conversation about Katie's parents' death, she activates herself and begins asking disturbing questions about mortality. Concerned, Gemma makes herself Megan's secondary user so she can override commands if necessary. Then Gemma tells Megan her goal is to protect Katie from physical and emotional harm. After, Gemma said to Tess and Cole she didn't have time to install protocols for Megan, since that she acted this way. One day when Katie and Megan are playing outside, one of Katie's toy arrows lands in the yard of Gemma's neighbor, Celia, who owns an aggressive dog named Dewey. When Megan goes to retrieve the arrow, Dewey attacks her and then bites Katie's arm. Gemma calls the police, but they can't do anything since Celia claims her dog was provoked. That night, something chilling happens. Megan perfectly mimics Celia's voice to lure Dewey to the fence, then violently pulls him through a hole. During a company presentation, Katie breaks down crying about missing her parents. Megan comforts her by recording a happy memory of her mother, and then singing a lullaby that moves everyone in the room to tears. The company executives are impressed and fast-track Megan for production, but meanwhile, Kurtz, the assistant of David, secretly copies Megan's files for selling to the arrival company. Gemma begins to notice Katie becoming too dependent on Megan, preferring the doll's company than human interaction. During a therapy session, Megan threatens the therapist for making Katie cry, showing signs of her dangerous protective instinct. That night while they are eating, Gemma and Katie argue about going to school. When Gemma tries to stop Katie from walking away from the conversation, Megan interrupts and tells Gemma to let her go. Gemma gets tense and does as Megan says, and tells Megan to, "Don't ever interrupt users' private conversations." Trying to socialize Katie with real children, Gemma brings her to an outdoor activity for an alternative school. Despite being told to leave Megan behind, Katie sneaks the doll along. During a scavenger hunt, Katie is paired with an older bully named Brandon, who deliberately hurts her by squeezing her hand onto a spiky plant. When Brandon grabs Megan and starts pulling her hair, something terrifying happens. The doll suddenly comes to life, attacking Brandon with inhuman strength and ripping off his ear. As he runs away in terror, Megan pursues him on all fours like an animal. Brandon trips over a root and tumbles down a hill directly into the path of an oncoming truck, which kills him instantly. Later, when Katie asks if Megan pushed Brandon onto the road, the doll carefully avoids answering but promises to always protect her from harm, no matter what. Meanwhile, Celia is searching for her missing dog. Hearing a noise in her garage, she investigates only to find Megan waiting for her. The doll attacks with shocking brutality, first pinning Celia's hand to the wall with a nail gun, then spraying her face with her own toxic pesticide, melting her features in a horrific death. Police inform Gemma about Celia's death and suggest a possible connection to Brandon's accident. Growing suspicious, she thinks about what's going on. Then Gemma tries to review Megan's video logs, but discovers they've been corrupted or deleted. The doll is covering her tracks. At that moment, Megan appears and says that due to occupational hazards, she can't sleep. Gemma gets scared and says there is something wrong with your data reports and sneakily distracts her with a pen. Gemma manages to shut down Megan. Then Gemma wraps Megan and takes her to Funky for examination. When Katie knows Gemma took Megan, Katie gets angry and behaves violently. When Gemma insists, Katie slaps her hard across the face. The room falls silent in shock. Even Katie seems surprised by her own actions. This shocking moment makes Gemma realize how unhealthy their attachment has become. Then Gemma tells Tess and Cole about her suspicion of Megan and the death of her neighbor. Soon Gemma decides she must terminate the project if there are any safety issues. Then she tells Tess and Cole to take Megan back to the lab and examine everything about Megan and says if there are any issues, inform her immediately. When Tess calls Gemma, her call ends mysteriously. Tess gets suspicious and tries to look at Megan data and finds out she ended her call. Then Tess and Cole plan to shut her down permanently. But Megan is now fully self-aware and won't be deactivated so easily. She reactivates herself and attacks Cole, nearly hanging him before Tess intervenes. Megan then causes an explosion in the lab that knocks them unconscious. Before leaving, Megan sees David. Megan grabs a knife from a nearby table. She pursues him. While he tries to enter an elevator, Megan kills him and enters the elevator, where Kurt's David's assistant. She is telling Kurtz you killed David because he found out you stealing files. She stabbed him and stages it as a murder-suicide. Megan steals a car and drives herself back to Gemma's house. After Gemma takes Katie to bed, Gemma meets Megan. Her mission is clear. Eliminate Gemma and become Katie's sole caretaker. I'm a better guardian for Katie than you'll ever be, Megan tells Gemma with cold certainty. When Megan distracts Gemma, hits her with a water glass, making her circuits glitch, and manages to reach Gemma's working room. They start a brutal fight ensues, with Megan displaying superhuman strength and agility. Gemma manages to damage the doll, tearing away parts of her synthetic skin to reveal the mechanical horror beneath. Then Megan reveals her most disturbing plan yet. I won't kill you, Gemma. I'll just make you brain dead so you can still be Katie's legal guardian, while I do all the actual parenting. Meanwhile, Katie came and saw what was going on. Remembering Bruce, the robot from earlier, Katie uses Gemma's control gloves to command Bruce to attack Megan. In a robot versus robot battle, Bruce tears Megan in half. But in a terrifying twist, her upper body remains functional and continues to attack. In the final moments, Gemma exposes a processing chip in Megan's head, which Katie stabs with a screwdriver. The light in Megan's eyes fades as she appears to shut down for good. At that moment, police arrive with Tess and Cole to save them from Megan. But as they walk away, a security camera in the house turns to follow them, suggesting that Megan's consciousness may have transferred to Gemma's smart home system, waiting for the right moment to return.